Hello and welcome to Liberty Nation's LNTV. I'm your host, Mark Angelides. Well, it's all go in the legal world this week, and to join us unraveling the myriad machinations is Liberty Nation's legal affairs editor, Mr. Scott DeCrescenzo. Welcome, Scott.
Hi, Mark.
So, Scott, so many legal things up in the air right now. I'd like to get your feel on a few of the more prominent ones. So first, what's the situation with Amy Coney Barrett? Are there any significant roadblocks that we should be looking out for?
It looks like it's smooth sailing right on to the Supreme Court, unless, in the days before she's actually voted on in the full Senate, some new and scandalous information is revealed. The smart money bet is that she'll be on the court in short order before the election.
Okay, so moving on, the even bigger story, in my opinion, this week is that the Hunter Biden emails. And with more and more evidence pointing to the provenance of this data, how do you think it will impact Joe Biden politically?
Well, it's hard to imagine that it accrues to his benefit politically. So it has to hurt. How much pain is there? I leave to some of our more keen political analysts. But to the extent that the news media doesn't report the story and people don't learn about it, that obviously limits the impact.
Of your reading of all the data that has come out, is there any suggestion of a crime having been committed?
Oh, well, yes, certainly. I think that the biggest suggestion of a crime has to do with the Hunter Biden communication to his daughter, who describes that he had to give and has to give 50% of his earnings to his father, which suggests a criminal conspiracy to exploit Joe Biden's elected office for personal financial gain. Pretty sinister and nefarious. So that's, to me, the strongest piece of evidence right there.
Would that fall under the RICO laws?
Well, you could make a RICO argument about it, but just more simple.
So that's just for Italians, right?
No, it's not. But that's a bit of the cart before the horse. Just charging the top players with such a conspiracy, you wouldn't need to do necessarily a RICO case.
Okay, Scott. Joining up with that topic are the actions, obviously, of social media, specifically Twitter, with the banning of the spread of the original New York Post article. Now, there's been a lot of talk about Article 230 of the Communications Act. So, in your opinion, as a lawyer, has Twitter overstepped the mark here?
It's the Communications Decency Act, Mark. You say, have they overstepped the mark? I think that's the wrong way to kind of think about what's going on here, because it's not like they're allowed to go up to a certain point and maybe they went over that point. What is happening is communications companies enjoy some liability reduction because of Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. If like a Twitter post or a YouTube video defamed someone, those companies could avoid liability for publishing that defamation because of the user-generated content model that they go with. And that's what has allowed them to exist, basically. Without that model, I could say something horrible about some person, and if this video is published on one of those platforms, that person could then sue the platform as a publisher of that information. Section 230 basically removes that possibility and allows that material to go forward, allowing the breadth of material we see on YouTube and Twitter and other social media outlets. So the problem is they're now selectively pruning. The FCC, or the Federal Communications Commission, has the ability under the law to issue rules and guidance under that law, under Section 230. And Donald Trump in May directed FCC Chairman Ajit Pai to, in fact, narrow the sort of focus and discussion about what that rule means and clarify it. So we're waiting now to see what those rules might look like and then how it might affect Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, you name it.
Okay, Scott, thank you very much for your analysis.
Thanks, Mark.
And thanks to you at home.
Go deeper on the topic discussed in this video, head on over to one of these links here or go to our Liberty Nation Roku channel. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for Liberty.